Did you know that the word mistletoe derives from the Anglo-Saxon words mistle, meaning dung, and tan, meaning twig? Not such a sexy origin for a plant that is so closely associated with romance and the holidays. But the word stems from the ancient belief that the plant actually propagated through bird droppings. It wasn't until the 16th century that scientists discovered this was actually true. Mistletoe did spread in this manner via seeds deposited by birds after going through their digestive system. And that is just the start of the rich history of the myth and tradition surrounding this plant. I'm Dr. Daryn Reyman-Lock, and welcome to Curious People Wanted. There are over 1,000 species of mistletoe worldwide, and because it attaches itself to a host to extract water and nutrients, mistletoe is considered a parasitic plant. Only some types are fully parasitic, though. There are varieties that are referred to as hemiparasites, meaning that they use a combination of photosynthesis and mooching from a host tree or shrub. With proteins that have anti-inflammatory, immunomodulatory, and antioplastic properties, mistletoe does have medicinal applications. It has been used for centuries to treat things like epilepsy, asthma, hypertension, headaches, infertility, and symptoms associated with menopause, dermatitis, arthritis, and rheumatism. Although not approved by the FDA here in America, in Europe, mistletoe extracts are studied and used for complementary and alternative cancer therapies. Some studies show that it helps reduce side effects from chemo and radiotherapy in particular. But, interestingly, despite its medicinal and romantic properties, as we will explore in a bit, mistletoe has long been part of various cultures' mythology and lore. One of the first that comes to mind are the Druids. The Druids were a religious group that belonged to prehistoric Brittonic and Gaulish culture in Europe. While first referenced in classical sources in the 2nd century BC, their name likely derived from the Gaelic root words for oak and wisdom. The oak was not only a symbol of knowledge, but a tree held sacred to the Britons and Gauls. As a result, the mistletoe that grew on oaks was highly prized. Why, you ask? Well, when the oaks dropped their leaves in autumn, the Druids believed that its spirit passed into the mistletoe, which stayed green, lush, and continued to bear fruit, demonstrating its continued vitality. The spirit would return to the tree come spring when, once again, the tree would leaf. To add to this idea, mistletoe would grow midway between heaven and earth, and consequently symbolized a gateway to another world, particularly at the winter solstice. The solstice was an incredibly important time in the Druidic calendar. The forces of light began to weaken those of darkness, and days began to lengthen. It was also a key point of the year when the veil dividing our world from the other world was drawn aside, allowing safe passage between both. Right, so at this time of the year, specifically during the 5th night of the moon, which was also the first day of the Druidic calendar's months and years, the moon was at a point where it was all healing. Under this moon, white-robed Druids would venture into the forest with white bulls to harvest a bough of mistletoe with a golden sickle. The bough could neither be touched by the harvester, nor could it be allowed to touch the ground. If it did, all its healing virtue would be lost. So, once cut, the bough would be caught in a white cloth or cloak. The bulls would be sacrificed and the mistletoe cut and distributed to people within the community. It was believed that when drunk, mistletoe could increase fertility and provide protection from or cures for illnesses. People also hung it in their doorways to ward against evil, intensify prayers, and protect those within. Fast forwarding to the Vikings and the Norse culture in general, mistletoe was a symbol of peace and resurrection. There are various versions of the story of Balder in which mistletoe features quite prominently, but I picked just one to tell. Balder, god of light, radiance, joy, purity, peace, and forgiveness, was the son of Odin and Frigga. Odin might be familiar to some as the god of war and wisdom, while Frigga was the god of marriage and the guardian of women and children. In this legend, Frigga makes everything from the elements of fire and water to metals, birds, serpents, ailments, and beasts swear they will not harm her son Balder. He achieved a level of invincibility as a result. The gods hurled rocks and tried to shoot Balder with arrows, but no harm ever came to him. But Loki, the god of mischief, trickery, and deception, realized Frigga forgot to extract an oath from mistletoe. He made a poisoned arrow from mistletoe wood and tricked the blind god Hoder into shooting Balder. Balder was killed. Frigga cried over her son's body. Her tears turned the berries on the mistletoe from red to white and, when placed upon Balder's chest, brought him back to life. Grateful for the return of her son, Frigga praised mistletoe as a symbol of love and peace, declaring that anyone who stood beneath it would be offered a kiss and forever protected. Certainly, there are many other traditions, especially surrounding fertility, associated with mistletoe. For instance, in England and Wales, farmers would present a sprig to the first cow to calve in the new year. Regardless, by the 18th century, it was well established as a Christmas and wintertime tradition.
I mean jingle bells. You know, Santa Claus and ho ho ho, and mistletoe and presents to pretty girls.
Well, what about the kissing part that is so familiar to everyone? There's actually a lot more to that than just kissing beneath the mistletoe. In a poem penned by Charles Dickens in 1826, we are told that every time a kiss is stolen under the mistletoe, a berry had to be picked from the bough. When all the berries were gone, the kissing was finished. To add to this idea, a couple kissing under the mistletoe ensured a long and happy life in marital bliss. If an unmarried woman stood beneath the mistletoe and was not kissed, she would remain single for another year. Young ladies would put mistletoe beneath their pillows to dream of their future husbands. The lore continues sort of in this fashion. Burning mistletoe was thought to foretell a woman's marital bliss. A steady burn indicated a healthy marriage, while a fickle flame suggested that the couple was not actually a very good match. In some parts of England, the mistletoe would be burned on the 12th night, in case those who kissed beneath it never married. From all of us here at the Barnum Museum, have a wonderful, happy, and healthy winter holiday season. Please like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, and feel free to comment if there's a topic you'd like me to explore more. But most importantly, remember to stay curious.